I'm always working with the youth, man, and that's my passion is to help young people get their lives together.
Let's talk about Texas. How did you end up in Texas?
Texas, what year we went to Texas, man? My wife got family out there, and she went out there and for a weekend, and next thing you know, she expressed to me that she wanted to move and we can get a house, and that's what happened, man. We got a house, and I was out there for a couple of years, man. It worked out for a little while. What was that?
How was your Texas experience?
It was good, man. To me, Texas, let's put it like this. If I was making money, I would still be in Texas to this very day because I adjusted to the lifestyle. I met one of my best friends. He lives in Texas right now, and it was good. It was just I wasn't making no money. We was trying to feed a house and couldn't feed ourselves. That was ass backwards. You feel me?
Right.
So,
right.
Being young and going in trying to be a homeowner, you put no money down. So we was really getting robbed, man. We kind of fell into this big old thing of they was just really too much, on interest and all this stuff, man. It was like whatever. So, and then we just finally came back home and we kind of had to regroup and restart all over in 2009, man. I've been back home since 2009. So that was my Texas experience. But I love Texas. It seemed like I ain't trying to be funny, but it seemed like I was 10 years ahead of the game than people that was already out there,
Wow.
They were stressing on. I wasn't even stressing. I'm like, it's nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? So it was good. But everybody say, oh, the cost of living is cheaper, blah, blah, blah. I don't care what the cost of living is. If you're not making no money, you're not going to survive at all.
Right. That sounds good. Oh, it costs gas is $1 cheaper, but hell, if you ain't got but 50 cents, it don't make a difference what the hell the gas costs.
Exactly. So that's my Texas experience, man. So I've been home ever since, man. Still working with young people for the last, what's this, 2020? Mm-hmm. Man, for the last 3 years, I kind of retired from working with young people due to my back surgery. I've been doing security ever since, just doing that, man.
Okay. Now, hey, DGreat, man, when you talk about like you got overwhelmed with the financial situations, how do you think that could have? What do you think could have happened to prevent that? Is it anything that you did, or is it just ignorance?
Well, when I made the move in Texas.
Yeah. Is it like? Do you think it was? Do you think this is something like a lot of people? The reason I asked you that, 2008 was when the housing bubble crashed. When then President George W. Bush, he wanted to put everybody in a house. His idea was great. Every American needs their own home. That's a great idea and that's a great thought. But the greedy people that were around him perverted that and put people in houses that they couldn't afford. Do you think you fell victim to that housing situation, or it was just young people moving too fast?
Nah, it's a combination of both. You know what I'm saying? Me not doing my research. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? My wife was really gun ho of going. And being a man in the house, I should have said, no, I don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do this. But I kind of stepped back, and I followed her lead and the things that she wanted to do. She wanted to go out there, man, and I didn't want to bust her bubble, and I'm gonna be honest, that was it, you know what I'm saying? And we never really talked about that. She might listen to the show like, oh, you really felt like that? It's just 100. Years later now, it comes out, but if I had to do it over again, we didn't save up no money to go, so we was broke going. You know what I'm saying? You at least got to have, I tell people now, you at least got to have 6 months to a year of salary before you go anywhere, just in case you fall in hard times. You know what I mean? We were staying with her family for like a couple of months. Just things wasn't right. Now, the crazy thing about it, I put a lot of that on me also because I didn't man up and step up to the plate on certain situations that I was in. Mentally, and emotionally, man. And emotionally. I'm gonna tell you a story, man. I had check this out. We had we were in the final stages of getting the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got hired by the city of Dallas to work to be a supervisor at this juvenile facility. It was almost like a juvenile camp, but it was a juvenile facility. Mm-hmm. So I was being trained, I was doing that, and I got kind of caught up in the mix with these kids, and emotionally that kind of just deterred me away from doing something that I should have been doing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now it was one night. I'm gonna tell you this. It was a Friday night, and they was training me, and they said the kids have to take a shower, right? Mm-hmm. So for some reason they wanted the staff, as the male staff, you had to really stand by the shower while these dudes is taking a shower, and I felt very uncomfortable with this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And the kids are smart, bro. Like we talked about last week, kids are very smart. They knew that was going to be an issue for me, and they played me on it big time. You know what I'm saying? Calling me names and making it seem like, I was out of, you know how it is. Kids they ate me up, and I felt so angry. I just but I couldn't do anything. I felt like I didn't want to be there no more. And I just felt real stressed out. And I felt sick. And I went home. I went home, which we were staying at my wife's relative's house. And my two kids at the time was very young. I think my daughter was, at the time, she was 3 years old, 2 or 3 years old. My oldest was maybe 11 or 12. She was going to middle school. Mm-hmm. And I came home, and all that frustration, bro, I took it out on them. And I had to stop and check myself. I said, hold up, my babies didn't do anything to me. Why is I talking to them like this? Why is I reacting to them like this? And I told myself, bro, I said, if I wake up in the morning and I continue to feel like this, I'm quitting this job. Man, I woke up. I had the same feeling. I said, I'm done. I got up a little early. I took my keys to the supervisor. He was like, what's going on? I said, man, I can't do this, man. I put my kids through something that I never ever going to do again in my life due to this job. You know what I'm saying? Now, in retrospect, I should have just shook it off and just dealt with it, because I could have been retired by now from the position that they was giving me. It was a nice position. But at that time, I didn't like the way I was feeling, because my kids didn't deserve that. Nobody deserved the anger and the things I was pushing out, right? So He said, "Oh, okay, well, you want to put your 2 weeks in?" I said, "I'm not putting no 2 weeks in. This is my last moment right here, right now. If you got my kids, I'm done." He said, "Well, you can't use that as a reference. Matter of fact, y'all don't even exist in my life." You know what I'm saying? Right. So, with that being said, soon as I left, it will humble you for real. Soon as I left there, it was holiday season. I drove to the nearest Target and applied for Target. I went from making working at that job close to $20-something an hour to making almost $8 an hour just in a day. Because I needed something to come in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Needed something to come in. But the next week I applied for this other job.
Let me interject for you 1 second, DGreat. I don't think, you know what, bro?
Go ahead.
I don't think that was a bad move on your behalf. You know why? Financially, it was a bad move, but at the rate you were going, you may have lost your family, brother.
Right.
You were put undue. So don't beat yourself up too bad. Don't beat yourself up too bad, man, because I see the way you and your wife interact, and I see how much you love on your kids. And if you were no longer being DeMarcus, then you could have potentially destroyed your family. I am going to salute you for that, because most people would have stuck it out at their job, fucked around, and put their hands on their kids, destroyed their emotional balance in your house. So now, brother, don't beat yourself up for that. You should be commended, because you said, I would rather lose everything and keep my family than to keep this job. Phyllis said, Most of our frustrating issues are often taken out on our children as we are trying to grow up as adults. And Phyllis said, "Don't feel bad," and Tiffany Swartz Hill said, "Don't feel bad. Uh,
Yeah.
don't ever feel bad for doing what's best for you." That's why I had to interrupt you, man, because no. See, in my opinion, man, that's why I want to do this whole Rapping with HRap thing every week and just have a different person on every week, simply because you were internally feeling bad for what you did. Yeah, your finances were not right, but guess what? I know you call your youngest daughter Spanky. She ain't stressed. Your oldest daughter, she ain't stressed. And again, I hear the way you and your wife interact. That may have been the difference in you being happily ever after and somebody down in Texas suffering from depression and other things of that nature. So now, brother,
Right.
I gotta commend you for that. Please continue.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And like Chuck
that.
said,
But at that time, you know,
putting your family first.
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody for the feedback, man. So yeah, that was that, man. And from that, the next week, though, the blessing from that, the next week, I got hired as a life skills coach, going into probation school, to the juvenile probation school, and teaching life skills to these young high school kids and middle school kids, man. And it was great, man. It was great. I loved it, man. I had my own office. I had my own curriculum. They taught me the curriculum of what need to be taught to these kids. I had a lesson every day. We played sports. I taught skills about life skills about drugs and just life, man. And it was a blessing. I've been doing that ever since, man. And when I came back home from Texas, I started working in group homes, man. I was a facility manager at this group home out here in LA. Till nature ran its course, man. When my back finally went out, man, I couldn't do nothing no more. So I'm still trying to recover from that. But yeah, man, that's in a nutshell of that part of me, working and being the man I am. I've been married 25 years to my wife. You know what I'm saying? But Memorial Weekend is our 25th anniversary. Doing the ups and downs, we still making it. You know what I'm saying? I got two beautiful grandkids. And my two beautiful daughters.
Yeah, even Chuck
Thank
said,
you. I appreciate that. And, yeah, man. Hey, your mental health is like.
Go ahead. Your mental health.
I said your mental health is it has to be right. Just like I'm reading some of the chat also where Ron said, man, your mental wellness is what needs to be on point at all time, man. So I thank Phyllis, Ron, Chuck, and Tiff for their comments, man, big time, man. So, and that's why I got the Gudio going on to really get me through this.
and that's why I started this section, because we need to have these conversations, man. Our community does not embrace each other enough. We need to be able to call DGreat. We need to be able to call Joe Music. We need to be able to call RC and say, RC, I'm stressed. We don't do that. People think, and this is just HRap 101. People think therapy is talking to a physician, a person who's not going to make a judgment on you. But sometimes therapy can be something as simple as calling one of your homeboys and saying, man, I'm stressing. And we've gotten to the point in society where we're so protective of our pride leads us, our ego leads us, and we end up stroking out and suffering from diabetes. Those things are brought about not only by your diet, but the stress and the pressure that people are put on themselves by not letting it out. So now, brother, like you was kind of thinking you did the wrong thing. No, bro. No, man. Just look, man. I am a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. For example, in my life, I've had some awesome places of employment. And anytime it was time for me to leave a place of employment, I was thinking I wasn't the man that you are. I was always going, damn, I got to stay here and feed my kids. But you know what happened? Whether you want to call it Allah, God, the universe, or whatever you want, He kicked me out of these situations. An example of that, I was working for this prominent company in Chicago. and me and it was my team that worked under me. Well, they worked under me, and there was some people up